Want to get us going?
What's up, John?
Different year, obviously, no preseason. What's it like preparing for an opponent game week one when there's none of that background of a preseason? Does that change what you guys do at all?
Well, there's always concern about going to the first game, because you see stuff in preseason and you kind of don't trust it, because you don't ever know. This is just amplifying that. We just got to wait and see. We have all of last year. We've seen Matt Ryan for a long time. We know Todd Gurley. We know about Julio. We know the guys. So it's wait and see, and they've got to wait and see on us too. So we have to be ready to adapt and have to have really good communication, to get that done, and hopefully we'll be able to stay ahead of it.
Does a decade in college football help prepare you for this as a coach?
Yeah, there's no question. Like I've said from the start, okay, we just flick into the college prep, and how we did that, and what was unique about the SC thing was that every single game mattered at the end of the year in terms, you had to try to win every game, and so that first game when you didn't know and you had to figure out, where you were and, did you have a good club or not, there was a lot going, and so it really did prepare for this, because every game for us is a championship game here, and we look at it the same way, and so I'm glad they had that experience.
Greg?
Pete, we were talking to Dan Quinn this morning. He was talking about the crowd noise, and he said he called it ambient sound is what they've settled on, kind of a middle-of-the-road background noise. Has the NFL now mandated, taking that choice out of your hands? Is there one standard across the board?
I haven't heard that. Have we heard that? I haven't heard that. If they did,
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. I kind of thought it might, but as far as I know, that we're playing whatever sound that they put out there. We have no plan now. But a couple weeks from now, we've already kind of decided how we'll do it if we have the choice. So.
And then John Ursua, the timing of that move and what Penny Hart is bringing you that he wasn't.
Yeah, we're really excited about Penny getting a chance to be on the roster. We love Johnny too, and so it just was. There's concerns, going through the final releases and stuff like that we went through, and it just turned out this way. That's like a no answer right there. Sorry.
Sir, thank you.
Tim?
Pete, I know that preseason there's a lack of live tackling outside of the games themselves. How much of a concern is that, though, going into the start of the season? Not even having those opportunities that you guys have had.
I don't know what coach and what level isn't concerned about tackling on the first game. Wherever you're playing, the guy's going to hit him or they're not. So it's a concern. That's why we played game like in C-Link, the second mock game we had, just to make sure that our guys did have a chance to go full speed and tackle and all of that. So it worked out fine. This is what we've done in the past, and just watching our guys. And matter of fact, I went back and watched it again last night. I just wanted to see the tempo again to see if it looked like it matched up to what's going to be necessary, and felt fine about it. So. This is what we got to do. I don't know what other clubs. Everybody had their own way of doing it, and they had their own opportunity to figure out how much they were going to hit. We try to practice at such a good tempo and so much ones against ones during this whole camp that our guys are used to the best speed that we can generate. So hopefully we'll be fine.
And do you anticipate Quentin being able to participate in practice this week? I know you said he was going through the intake process the other day.
Yeah, he is. He's here and he's ready to go today, full speed.
Joe?
I'm good. Tim answered my question. Thanks.
Adam?
Yeah, Pete, when you talked early in camp about when it comes to testing and protocols, being mentally tough and really challenging your team to be accountable with each other. What have you learned from this group when it comes to that diligence and accountability? And I guess second part here, as you prepare to travel to the other side of the country and really embark on a lot of unknowns here in this season, how realistic do you think it is that not only you as a team, but this league can get through the next 17 weeks safely?
Well, first off, just addressing, getting through to this time, and we might be 36 tests or something into it. I don't know how many days, something like that. our system and the guys, compliant to it has been all but flawless, really, at this point. So we know that we can create a bubble, in our format, and we know that our guys have set up the structures of the way they're living when they're not here in the building effectively, and that's really important to us. So I know we can do it here, and I would, there's always issues that can arise, but. So we have command of this. Now the next question is, we add all of the variables of the travel, and we've got to see what happens, and see how it goes. We're going to carry over the discipline, carry over the focus and the the attitude of and conscious of all the people around you that is so necessary, and then we've got to wait and see what happens. I'm really curious about it. We've worked so hard to get to this point, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to carry it over. I'm not worried about the game part of it. It's more like the transitions between stuff that we're working really hard to control all of those elements as well.
Do you have a better sense? You talked Monday about getting more protocols in terms of travel, specifically from the league. You have a better sense of that? I think we're pretty clear today. I think finally we're in pretty good shape. And I know what the league is doing. They're just trying to do it right. So they're looking at it and checking it again to make sure that they've done everything they can. It's a big challenge. Half the league's going on the road. So, we have to be flexible about that. There's no use complaining about it. We just got to be flexible. If they come up with something that they need to adjust, we're going to go right along with it and be very compliant and try to make the best of it. Thank you.
Art?
Pete, in the Week 8 game last year against Atlanta, what happened in the second half to the defense?
I thought Atlanta got really good. They went on a tear after that second half, winning a bunch of games second half of the year, and it just seemed like they kind of found a rhythm, and they mixed the runs really nicely and were effective on the ground. We might have, we haven't been ahead 24-0 very many games since we've been around it. We might have not handled that very well. So, but they played really well, and we were scrambling to get a win.
Is there anything about your team's play that you remember from, saying, hey, this is something we got to fix from that game?
No. I mean, it just, we just had to be the truth of what happened. We got rolled up pretty good in the third quarter, and they got rolling. It's basically what I have to do. I have to do a better job, commanding the mentality coming out of that half. I don't think it's about them. I think it's about me. So I talk to myself quite regularly in that regard.
Can you record that sometime?
No, sorry.
Thanks.
Jackie?
Hey, Coach, just one of your initial thoughts on just finally being in a game week and preparing for Atlanta.
Oh, you got to say it again, Jackie. I couldn't understand that.
Oh, sorry. Just your thoughts on finally being in a game week and preparing for Atlanta.
Yeah, it's really fun. You can feel the energy and everybody, the coaches, everybody in the building, the players for sure. It's and for a lot of guys, it's their first NFL game ever, and so they're all pumped up about it. We're it's really important to us to watch those guys and see that they don't get too hyped or whatever. They need to stay in the kind of pocket that we need to stay in. So, but there's a lot of excitement about it, and this is I think even more anticipation in a sense because we've had so little football over the course of the off season and also there's a big build-up. Looking forward to it, and it's going to be a much different experience than we normally see on the road. So it's going to be interesting.
And then, really quick, secondly, Coach, you had said obviously like they're two playmakers, but what are your initial thoughts with Atlanta, given that you haven't been able to watch much film leading up to today or this weekend?
Well, they've added some good players, and they've when you add Todd Gurley to your team, that can really affect the complexion and style of your play. He's been a dominant football player, and Hayden Hurst is a really good player too. They had a good tight end last year in Hooper, but Hayden looks every bit the same, and they add a really good element after you might have thought they lost something. So, and we're seeing Matt Ryan, and so. This is a really skilled, quality offensive football team to deal with, and I know they'll be fired up on defense too. Danny will have them all jacked up, so it's going to be a really tough matchup.
Curtis?
Hey Pete, I was just kind of wondering, bigger picture, like how much do you think you know about your team at this point, kind of given everything you've gone through compared to normal and where you've gotten to at this point?
Well, I know everything that I know, and that's reminiscent of one of those. I feel like I have as much information as I could have gotten to this point. You're asking, well, wait, what's going to happen when we get to the game, and are we going to be totally different? I don't think so. I know I've watched this practice for many years here, and kind of know what the speed looks like, and the tempo, and the execution, and I'm very pleased with where we are right now. I'm really excited about this team going out and finally getting a chance to show it, and it really wouldn't matter who we're playing or where we're playing right now. We just got to go play a football game and see what we need to adjust. But our guys the leadership has been really formidable in keeping the pace and keeping the tempo and keeping the focus, and that's all we could hope for. So let's go see. That's why we play the games. Got to find out what's going to happen. We'll have a good story for you afterwards.
Joe
It'll be on Zoom though, by the way. We won't be in person, in case you were wondering. So.
Pete, random one. I'm just curious if you guys have to get creative on Saturday of what you're going to do. I'm guessing guys won't be allowed to leave the hotel, but just to kind of help guys get through the day so they're not just maybe sitting around and getting tight or getting bored or whatever.
No, Joe, if you think about it, it's not any different than it ever is. We're going to do all the same stuff we always do. And there's not that much time that guys spend outside of the hotel in the past. We basically have our routine that we go through, and they get back to the hotel, before 3 o'clock or something. So there's only a few hours in there. So hopefully there's some good movies on, or be a ball game or something going on. So, but it's not that much different.
Bob?
Yeah, Pete, just a general question on the roster rules this year and sort of expanded practice squad and the ability to call some guys up on Saturday and things like that. Just sort of curious, I guess, your general thought on what they've tried to do there and how much you think that might impact things on game day.
The league has made an effort to make it as flexible as possible for us so that we can deal with the issues, whatever they are, and if we lose a couple players or something like that, we need the flexibility to transition guys from the practice squad. They've added six spots on the practice squad and 6 veteran spots too, that you can utilize if you want. So it's been really, they've thoughtfully designed it so that we have the flexibility to put out a good club. That's why everybody that's practicing with us is like on the roster, because everybody could be called on. So a little bit different sense of that, and a feeling for the size of the roster and the flexibility. 8 linemen up, you can you get another spot. That's a good deal too, and we'll always take that into consideration. So it seems like things are better getting prepared for the game and the flexibility that they've given us.
Brady?
Pete, with Dunbar, with the late start that he got and the time that he's missed, how do you feel about his readiness in terms of grasp of the defense and of the position and all that?
Well, he's a really bright kid, and picking up the system has been nothing for him. It's been really easy. He's had good competitive work, not as much as some other guys. I mean, if you look at it, say like he had pulled his hamstring or something like that, what would it be like, and it's kind of, he's missed enough days that he hasn't got them all, and you can tell a little bit. But because of the savvy player that he is, the experience that he has, we would be comfortable if he's on the field playing for us.
And about the traveling, I'm sorry if you were asked this already, but is your traveling party going to be any smaller this year than it was in years past, just with what's going on?
Yeah, the numbers are way down. Yeah, and it's very strictly governed, so our numbers are way down. People in the locker room, numbers were way down. Accessibility to the team has really been of paramount importance, and so the league's done a lot of things to make statements that that how they want this to go, and so we're just preparing to be totally in compliance. But the numbers it's different.
Thank you,
Corbin.
Hey Pete, you mentioned the additions that the Falcons made in the offseason, but they're also getting a Pro Bowl safety back in Keanu Neal. How much does his return to the field change Atlanta's defense and impact the way that you guys are going to be able to attack them offensively?
He's a really good player and really aggressive and a playmaker. So they missed him last year, just like we would, and so that just makes him better. He plays fast and he's really tough, and he's a guy that comes through, makes come through type of plays and stuff. So he'll be a positive factor for them for sure.
Last question, Masvita.
Hey, Pete, you talked a little bit about this, but I'm just wondering, how do you keep guys like Damian Lewis grounded? You know, I mean, guys got to be ready to go, flying high, and how do you keep him grounded?
Yeah, that is a challenge for us right now, and it's at this time of year. I'm always talking about this to the coaches that let's watch them really carefully, really be observant to see if there's any changes from how things have been. And so we're going to try to read the body language and read his reactions and stuff, but also knowing that there's just a natural hype about it first time out, and you don't ever you get to do that twice. It's one shot to be your first game, NFL game, and so we want to make sure that they're really clear thinking and take into account those factors and see if we can keep him really calm. We really for instance, in his case, we love the way he plays, so we just want to do what he's been doing. We'll be fine, and so we'll remind him that it's just football, and he's played in a lot of big stadiums, a lot of big games, and this is going to be particularly more quiet than down where he was in LSU. So I think he'll handle it okay.
And I guess the last one here is in terms, I know the players are excited as a collective to get on physically and do something that they love. And then also the opportunity for them to continue the discussion about what's important off the field. I mean, just, the opportunity there that they.
Yeah, what I've encouraged you guys to do is let's stay with the topics. Let's get comfortable with staying with the topic so that we do stay in the present, and we can handle it. We can handle it, and it's the right thing to do. We got a lot of responsibility to keep learning and keep growing, and I want to keep helping our players be exposed to whatever they can be exposed to learn and to have a greater sense as they're going through this as well as everybody else. And so I feel there's a responsibility on my end of it to keep doing that. And in that, let's stay with it. This isn't something we just want to put in our back pocket and forget about it. It's too important. So. The whole thing we've been talking about voting and all that is a huge issue that we want to be part of, and we like to encourage and help it. If there's some way that we can. So that's coming from the players, and so we will stay on topic when the opportunity arises.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bobby Wagner will be up in about 2 minutes.
See ya.